Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Spellbook Deck Tech here on MetaBroz. I'm Moldy Potion. This is my bro Crax.
Welcome back, everyone.
What's going on, everybody? Today we're going over the winning spellbook from our recent games. This is the Earth Kitties, as we've been calling it.
The Critter Cats.
The Critter Cats, as you like to say. Yeah,
yes.
This is a nasty, very aggressive spellbook here. I think it stands up well against pretty much every aura type except water. It doesn't do too well against water because one flood the earth and this whole spellbook goes away. But if they don't...
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
Water has an advantage against earth, I believe, since it turns like the earth into mud flavor-wise.
Yes.
So water pages will deal an additional 20 damage to any earth page, in addition to the fact that water is pretty much the top of the mountain still in the meta.
Totally. But this is a super powerful deck, and I just want to point that out up front because a lot of people are like, man, I feel like earth is slept on, and I agree it is. Just be aware of that flood the earth weakness. I think there's one earth beastie with flight, so everything else is gone.
And I took that beastie out, actually.
Yeah.
So I have revised it since our first game. We just dropped the list of cards in our previous videos if you want to see how I changed it, and you'll have the updated version in the description below of this spellbook. So before we get into the pages, if you guys are enjoying the channel and you feel like supporting us, you could use the code MetaBroz with a Z at checkout if you're shopping at Channel Fireball. It won't cost you anything, but it does help us out.
Absolutely. And big shout out and love to all of our patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the support. If you would like to join our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/MetaBroz with a Z. We do art giveaways and merch giveaways at the end of every month, play you guys on TTS, help you build your decks, all kinds of fun stuff, guys. So go check it out if you'd like.
And we have one of those giveaways coming up. What would normally be at the end of this month. It's going to be a couple days late, guys, because of the Texas tournament that Moldy here is going to. As soon as he gets back on the 1st or 2nd, we will record a video, do the giveaway, send out all the auto win prizes, show you guys what the special merch is for this month, and move forward as we have been for several months now.
Yes.
Thanks to you, patrons. Thank you. All right, let's get into the pages. So I am running, once again, I got to count this. No, that's my normal. Okay, I'm running my 9 Earth Aura. I removed the crystals. Technically, they are not in the build. This is just the build right here. Initially, we wanted those crystals because there were some bigger beasties in here with your original build, but I took them all out except for Grafton, and we'll get to Grafton at the end. So if you're going to run the bigger beasties, you might want to have the Earth crystals. I am back to thinking that the crystals are a trick, and that they're always taken away before I use them, so why even bother putting them in? Just stick to the Earth Aura. Most of the things in this spellbook are cheap other than Grafton, so it's easy to roll out pretty wide with this Earth spellbook. John Henry's a little expensive too, but moving on. We've got 2 Desert Terra, and those Desert Terra play right into the Cactus Cats, giving them a 50 bonus to their attack. This is what makes this spellbook work. It's very much like the light elementals or even the fearsome critters a bit, because I'm going to have tribal boost, and the Terra advantage means that I can go out wide and pretty strong pretty quickly. Then we've got the 2 bookmarks. We run those in all spellbooks, let you draw 2 cards. I'm running the New Year's anniversary celebration.
New beginnings.
Absolutely what I meant to say. Thank you. Looked right at it, said the wrong thing. OCD or dyslexia. I said OCD instead of dyslexia. There we go. What a combo.
We'll
Sorry,
get there
guys.
Eventually.
Let's take this again. So New Year's, new beginnings. Running that sends your entire chapter to the cemetery, yours and your opponent's, and you draw 7 new cards. I'm using this again because there's a lot of low cost, quick rollout. Other than my 2 big beasties, most of the time I'm sitting with no cards in hand, so I'm very happy to use this against my opponent, especially when they're playing water, because oftentimes they have a 1/4 of their spellbook in their hand, and it sends it all for 1 aura to the cemetery, discarded out of the game.
Yeah, you're weak against the Flood the Earths. Well, if you play a New Year's New Beginnings at the right time, you might get rid of both their Flood the Earths. So
that would be
then you pretty much win the game.
Absolutely. All right. Speaking of winning the game, we've got Powerup Red, pretty much game. Put that on any beastie, throw a couple lightning in the bottles in the arena on top of them, and you could just close out the entire match instantly.
Yes.
We've got 2 first anniversary celebrations. This removes all traits, so this is excellent against Frogman, who has Magi Proof, or Bigfoot if the Invisible is active, or Flying or First Strike. Any of those traits in the upper left-hand corner of the card are now gone for the remainder of your turn, all the way through your opponent's turn, and all the way back through until the end of your next turn. So that's like a whole 2-3 turn cycle, basically, that you have an opportunity to remove those beasties that would normally be unattainable due to their traits protecting them.
Important note here with First Anniversary, it nullifies the traits. It doesn't remove them technically. So like with something like Hateful Demise that can destroy any beastie that has 2 traits, even if First Anniversary is active, and those traits are nullified, they're still on the page. So you can still remove them. They're just not active at the moment, if that makes sense. It disables traits. It doesn't remove them.
No, that's great. Good to know. Does it say nullify? Is that the exact word?
Yeah, nullify.
Okay, yeah. And also you can deal 25 damage, which is just an amazing thing for a 1 cost like a fireball that you can send anywhere for 25 damage and nullify all those traits for those 3 turns.
Yeah, by the way, Saturday apparently is Easton's birthday. If you guys don't know Easton, he is pretty much the #1 player right now in MetaZoo, and Saturday's his birthday, which means legally he's going to be able to play First Anniversary Celebration and get 50 damage out of it rather than 25. That son of a bitch.
I'm in.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I know.
Cool. I didn't know that. So anyway.
Actually, it'll be 75 damage. Oh, that's absurd.
An additional 50.
That's
1 cost,
disgusting.
75 damage. Traits
Disgusting,
gone.
Easton. No wonder you're going to win.
Wow. That's incredible. All right. Moving on. 5 lighting in the bottles, because once again, we're going wide with a bunch of beasties, and we want to attack as much as possible to close out that game as soon as possible.
Yep.
Now, one of my new cards that I am absolutely in love with, new
So good.
to Wilderness. This is the Stone-Eating Gyascutus. So for 2 Earth, you get a 50 life point beastie that has Burrow and Convert. So at the beginning of every turn, you just declare this beastie is burrowed. It does not need to fatigue to burrow, and it is basically away under the ground and unavailable to be targeted. However, Flood the Earth, as you can imagine, the flavor would still drown any burrowed beasties. So you're not safe from Flood the Earth, but you're safe from attacks, you're safe from spells, you're safe from powers. You can still be affected by potions even when burrowed. But this beastie, because it has Convert, immediately gives me a certain ramp into my aura, accelerating that a bit and keeping them safe when it's not my turn. So it's very challenging to remove them unless he has a spell on my turn he can play, which is rare right now in MetaZoo in terms of removal. Of course, there's like Paralyze and stuff like that. The anytime spell. Paralyze the anytime spell, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy. It's like if you had an Aurafact, like an Aura Rock in the game that had Invisible and Magic Proof or something. It's totally crazy. This thing, you just burrow it on the opponent's turn. They can't target it with attacks. They can't target it with spells. They can't target it with Frogman or powers or anything, and then pass back to you. And cool, you can just convert and
use it how you want.
Use it however you want.
You can attack with them. You can convert for more aura, or you can use the power Scavenge. Place an Earth Beastie in your limbo face up under this beastie. Then this applies to the attack crunch base damage 10. Before doing damage, you may have this attack's base damage become equal to the base damage of an attack on an Earth Beastie under this beastie. So you can grab as many beasties as you want by fatiguing this, and you can select the base power of one of those beasties to turn into the Gyascutus, which I did with Grafton after you removed it. And I was able to deal 50 damage consistently each turn by using that power Scavenge. Also gets an additional 10 bonus if the Mountain Terra is in play.
It's a fearsome critter, so it's going to boost your Cactus Cats, or if you're playing it with Gumbaroos, it'll boost them as well.
That's the best part. Well, Burrow might be the best.
I think
the
Burrow
fact that
Convert,
it's a fearsome critter giving tribal boost, it does not get tribal boost, but it gives it to the other fearsome critters, and it stays safe while burrowed and accelerates your aura. I threw Powerup Red on this thing. He had no opportunity to remove it because it was always burrowed unless I was using it to attack, tossing a couple lighting in the bottles. I closed out our last game with Gyascutus, and that's why he's one of my new favorite beasties.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Okay, moving on to the real star of the show. I mean, it's kind of neck and neck with Gyascutus. They work as a team. Cactus Cat. So this is a beastie fearsome critter that actually came out with the first set, Cryptid Nation, almost a year ago. Contraction costs 2 Earth, life points 40, has stone skin, so all damage outside of combat will be reduced to 0. Gets an additional 50 bonus to the attack if that Desert Terra is in play. So that is really the main goal of this spellbook. Also gets tribal boost from Gyascutus, all the other Cactus Cats, and even my Trippadero, I believe, is a fearsome critter. So there's a number of bonuses going on here. Almost all of my smaller beasties are getting stronger when there's more than one in the arena.
Right.
Spindle is the attack, base damage 30. Spindle deals 0 damage if you are drinking a beverage. So just be careful when you're going to competitive play next week in Texas, or when you're just playing with your friends, that you establish, when you can drink water and when you can't, because you wouldn't want to just, randomly take a sip of water in a game, and then the next time you attack with your cat, it's not dealing any damage. Right. So before you sit down to play, talk to a metazoologist, talk to one of the refs or one of the organizers, and just make sure that you've got that locked in. And I just recommend probably drinking water before the game. Right. And waiting until after.
Yeah, put your water away just to be safe during the game.
Yeah, exactly. And that'll slow frogmen down a bit too. Sort of. I mean, every frogman player has their own glass of water on the fourth wall list, or physically. So not really, but don't help them. Don't help the frog.
And definitely don't play Cactus Cat in your frog deck.
Oh, no, that wouldn't be good at all.
Because you'll have the beverage.
Well, you won't be sipping from it. You just need it with an eyesight. So anyway. All right, next we've got Trippadero. So again, Trippadero was also an original Cryptid Nation beastie that came out over a year ago. Trippadero, contraction cost 2 neutral, 1 earth, life points 50, has unblockable and fleet, so can attack right away and cannot be blocked when it attacks. Fourth wall effect, Trippadero loses fleet as long as there is dirt in the arena. So your opponent would either have to list that on their fourth wall list or physically have dirt that they drop into the arena before you get this in play. Tribal Boost. This page gains, you already know that, gains plus 10 life points and plus 10 damage for every other fearsome critter in the arena. Also gives it. Mud Bullet is the attack, base damage 10. So although I did not get to use Tripodaro that much, I mean, I got a couple out. You removed them pretty quickly. It's just adding to that fearsome critter and having that unblockable and fleet to get in there as soon as possible with as much damage. Next, this is what made the entire spellbook for me come together. I felt like I couldn't really handle your flying rebobs, and I was having trouble reaching the bat squatches and just timing everything out. And then suddenly I threw this Rock Rain in, which is also a card that I believe came out in Cryptid Nation. So we've had this for almost a year. Yeah. Rock Rain, 6 per spellbook, contraction cost X. Activate the following effect X times, where X is equal to the number of Earth aura you use to contract this spell. Deal 10 damage to target beastie or artifact. So Bat Squatches being 70 damage, having my Gyascutus that I can convert for extra aura, and having just enough aura to generate that 7, I remove several Bat Squatches from our last game with this. And I think that was one of the bigger beasties you had in your spell book outside of Indrid, who never made the appearance. So I just feel much safer having this, being able to remove it, not having to worry about whether it's flying or, whether it's lining up several cards, that was the thing that you did before with this Jeering Rocks, which we'll get into in the side deck. That was your first form of removal. Right. But I personally get a little frustrated when I need to line up 2 cards for removal. I like just having one, and I know, you need a bunch of aura to make it work. So it's more than one card in the end, but I'm always rolling out aura. That's part of my build naturally, including everyone. So I feel more comfortable playing some type of direct damage or direct removal, not just relying on beasties. Yeah, Rock Rain is definitely a main deck or side deck card for Earth. The way that I had the Earth deck built, I was not running Rock Rain in the main deck. I was running First Anniversaries and Rock Rain in the side deck because I was focusing on the Jeering Rock beastie approach, but definitely throwing Rock Rain in the side deck or in the main deck is necessary because there's certain spell books that it will totally take down. Nappa being one of them, Ding Bells being another one. Rock Rain is very valuable against lightning beasties because every one of those instances of 10 will actually be 30. So for 3 aura and a Rock Rain, you can kill a Cats. So wow, that's actually incredible, especially against lightning because of that aura advantage that Earth has. Yeah, definitely play Rock Rain. Just keep in mind, you can only have one target with Rock Rain. So no. What are you talking about? As many instances as you want. Hold on. That's why it's rain. Activate the following effect X times, where X is equal to the number of Earth aura used to contract this spell. Deal 10 damage to target beast or artifact. I can pick more than one target. Yeah, because you're activating that effect 10 times. So target a beast or artifact, then target a beast or artifact, then target a beast or artifact. Better. Yeah, it's good, man. Oh man, then I played this wrong. I could have taken out a couple of your rebobs. I had the aura and I was saving it up to make sure that I was, only gonna remove your bigger bat squatch. I was kind of slowing my game down then. Wow. Yeah, it's really, really good. Even better than I expected. Awesome. Next page, we have a beastie who is new to Wilderness, I believe, right? This is John Henry. So John Henry, you can have 1 per spell book. I'm going to bring this down to read. Contraction cost 5 earth, life points 120, has the unblockable trait, the defender trait, so his life points will be double temporarily when it is not your turn. They will return to the standard life points. So if you deal enough damage to take him out, once his life points return to the 120, he will die. Sorry if I said that kind of glitchy and confusing.
His max life points double. So he's got 120. When it's the opponent's turn, he's got 240. Keep your damage on a separate dice so you can do that. Because if he's dealt 120 damage when he has 240 life, turn passes back, he still has 120 damage. He dies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He also has regen, though, which makes it a little more complicated, meaning that he's going to recover 10 life points at the end of every single turn.
It's true.
So you got to make sure your math gets 130. Yep, before you pass back. All right. 30 additional damage to the attack if the Mountain Terra is in play. Arena effect. All other non-token beasties you control have unblockable and have plus 25 life points.
So good.
If this beastie is inflicted with a status effect, deal 20 damage to it instead. That's pretty cool, too.
Amazing. Amazing.
Indomitable strength. Base damage 50. Interesting. It's actually strong against Earth.
Yeah, because John Henry cuts through the mountains.
Oh, yeah. All right. He's the guy who he made the oh my goodness. The railroad happen. There we go.
While the train was coming or something like that. He made the tunnel while the train was coming. I think that's the story. Yeah.
What does it say here? Although his hammer weighted at least 6 kilograms, the steel driving man swung it with unrivaled precision and power. Cool, John Henry.
Yeah, nice.
All right, our final beastie, the biggest beastie in this spellbook, new to Nightfall, the Grafton Monster. You can have 1 per spellbook, contraction cost 6 earth, life points 150, has stone skin, all damage outside of combat reduces 0, also has that defender trait, life points will be temporarily doubled when it's not your turn, also has unblockable. So you see in the theme here, there's a lot of unblockable beasties who are boosting one another. And if they're not getting boosts, they're pretty big and hard to take care of in general. Anything over 100 life points, that's when you're going to need a couple attacks or a couple cards. Fourth wall effect, this page costs 0 to contract. If it is Mother's Day, that's not going to apply anywhere.
Yeah, unless it's Mother's Day.
It's at a tournament.
Yeah.
Yes, sure. This page cannot be affected by non-beastie pages while on or off the arena. This is amazing.
Flood the Earth doesn't work on Grafton. Yep.
Doesn't matter.
So everything else will be destroyed, but your Grafton will still be there.
Arena effect, this page must be the target of all legal attacks and cannot have status effect indicators. Even
so good.
Better, he's such a badass. I mean, he's already big with the life points being 150. Then good luck doing anything to him unless it's a beastie attacking him. By the way, he wants you to attack. That's why all attacks must target him. And no paralyzation, no sleep, you know what I mean? No confused. He doesn't care. He's just going to be there to take your damage with his double life points and most likely end your life with his base damage, 50 attack, mud, rock, hurl, which gets an additional 20 bonus to the attack if the Forest Terra or the Mountain Terra is in play. So that's it, guys. That was my spellbook. I'm enjoying it. I definitely want to try it up against water. I'm not as confident, obviously, because everything will be reduced and water is already ultra powerful. But that's the next game I want to play when you get back from the tournament. I want to keep testing Earth. You've got me interested now after a year of avoiding it.
Yeah, it's really good, guys. It's really good.
I'm going to let you run over the side deck because I know that you had an initial different build for this, and you'd probably play the crystals, wouldn't you?
I would. I would play the crystals. I would remove 1 Earth Aura, and I'd pop the 2 crystals in, and then I would also remove the Tripaderos because I don't think they do a lot of work. I think that Trippadero is a really interesting card, but only having 10 damage, even if you have 4 Cactus Cats in the arena, that means the Trippadero will swing for 50, while your Cactus Cats are each swinging for like 120 or something like that. So just keep it in mind, Trippadero is cool, but I don't think it does as much work as the other cards in the spellbook. I prefer Mud Monster. I think Mud Monster is really nasty. Mud Monster is a 3-cost Earth Beastie. He has 80 LP. He's also unblockable, and he takes an 20 less damage from water pages, which helps to eliminate that aura advantage that water has. Then his attack inflicts scared, deals an extra 20 damage to water pages, and if the page started combat, you get to deal 10 damage to up to 2 opposing beasties other than the primary defender. That is crazy. And I think a lot of people underestimate that every time you declare an attack with him, you're going to be able to deal 10 damage to 2 beasties, whoever they are. Spirit beasties, Nappa Rebobs, it's going to be 30 damage if it's a lightning beastie. So I think Mud Monster's amazing, and the fact that he has 80 LP. He's just hard to deal with. He's one of those cards that, like, when he comes out and you have to deal with him, it's usually like, oh no, like, how am I going to do this? I can't just attack him and destroy him.
Man, I guess you're right. Now that I'm looking at this for real, each of these costs 3.
Right.
And my Mud Burrow is unblockable, does not have fleet, but is already hitting for 30.
Right.
That is nice. And he is a fearsome critter, so he's going to give...
He's a Sasquatch.
He's not.
Yeah, he's a Sasquatch.
So he's not going to give the bonus to my Cactus Cats.
Right. But he just does so much work elsewhere in the arena, and he's hard to deal with. He's a great one to, like, use the Jeering Rocks and slam people into him, however you want to do it. I really like him. I also, of course, do have the 2 Jeering Rocks here. I think this is one of the best removal spells that Earth has right now. It's a 1 cost, came out in Wilderness, awaken target opposing beastie. That beastie must declare an attack against an Earth beastie you control of your choice. Again, this is awesome against the fact that Earth beasties tend to be bigger. It means that you don't really care if the opponent's beastie hits you, or if you're playing something like Tehihan that has Bloodsucker, they're going to hit you and Tehihan will hit back and recover his life right back. So I just think Jeering Rocks is really clutch. You can force a Nappa to attack. You can force a Light Elemental or whatever you want to attack and just deal with them that way. Of course, I have 3 Absorb Auras up here. You got to have those in the side deck. When you come up against a crystal heavy spellbook, if you don't have Absorb Auras, you're probably going to lose, because those are people who really commit to that. It's a dangerous build. It's a gamble, but it's very powerful. But if you hit those Absorb Auras, you take all their power away from them and basically make a bunch of cards in their deck help you instead. Because if you don't know, Absorb Aura destroys target artifact that has an aura cost of 0. You get to bookmark 1, and then you also generate 1 of the type of aura that artifact was. So it just speeds your rollout while slowing down theirs. It's definitely a win-win card. Anti-potions I'm playing in the side deck, I just think they work a little better than Smoky Spirit and Lightning in the Bottles when you're up against a spellbook that's really relying on potions. Anti-potion is essentially a counter potion, 0 cost like all potions. You contract it at any time, but you can only contract it after an opposing caster. No, you may contract it at any time, period. You cannot put it in a spellbook with other potions not named anti-potion. Do not resolve target opposing potion. Potions with the same name as that potion do not resolve until the end of this turn. So that means that if somebody tried to play a lightning in a bottle, you just boom, anti-potion, and then they can't do another lightning in a bottle that turn. It shuts it down completely, and it's great against Frogman when they try to wake up their frog and lock down one of your beasties. Nope, anti-potion. Or if you're attacking their frog and they go to Smoky Spirits, nope, anti-potion. As you can see, most of this is based around dealing with frog, because we're all going to have to deal with frog. It's a nightmare to deal with, and anti-potion is a help in that direction. I'm also running 2 Stone Men. Now, technically here in the side deck, we have a few more than 15 cards, but that's just because we were running different builds. The 2 Stone Men I just think are, again, excellent to use Jeering Rocks and ram people into. They have 100 LP. They're going to hit for 20. While they're awakened, the page directly behind them cannot be targeted by attacks. And if there's a stone within eyesight, they have stone skin. Now, a lot of people are going to be playing a stone on their 4th wall because it actually can be a slowing device against Slide Rock Bolter, but it's also going to give Stone Man stone skin. And I think a lot of people aren't considering that in having a stone, they're going to be giving their opponents Stone Men stone skin, which, like we said, reduces all damage outside of combat to 0. Stone Man also has a power that is so clutch in the right moments. You can fatigue him just to deal 20 damage to target beastie, artifact, or caster. It means you don't have to attack with him, so you don't have to risk like going up against a first strike Kets or anything like that. You could just fatigue him and you would deal 20, actually 40 damage to the Kets with that power. Stone Man is so nasty. You can blow up light elementals with the power. Rock Hurl, I think, is just very handy, very tech in the right moments. And then the last beastie I have here is Slide Rock Bolter, because he, for me, it's between him and Grafton for the best Earth beastie in the game. I mean, 2 neutral, 4 Earth aura, has 170 life points. Listen to this combination of traits: Burrow, Stone Skin, and Defender, which means that I can burrow him when it's not my turn, and then when it is my turn, all damage outside of combat is reduced to 0. And if I don't feel like burrowing him on your turn, he's going to have 340 life points. He gets a 50 damage bonus from the Mountain Terra. He has the only power in the game that you can fatigue him and send target aura page to the afterlife. Slide Rock Bolter will lose 30 LP when you activate that power, but he has 170 LP. So you can activate that power, like 5 times? 6 times if you give him more LP. If you Powerup Red him, you can just use that power till the end of time, and you're going to take away one of your opponent's aura pages. That's going to be clutch in this upcoming tournament because everybody's going to be playing Prism Aura, trying to run more than one aura type, maybe to splash in Dampen or whatever it is. And if you get Slide Rock Bolter out, Lightning in a Bottle him a couple times, you can just send their aura pages to the afterlife and they will have no resources. So this is the only card that can do that, and I just think that's incredibly powerful in itself. The stone fourth wall effect that I've referenced before is that an opposing caster may place a stone on Slide Rock Bolter to fatigue it, and Slide Rock Bolter will not awaken until you, the controller, pays 2 Earth Aura to remove the stone. But who cares? Like, they'll be able to slow down Slide Rock Bolter for a turn, and then you can just pay to remove the stone, and they can't use that stone again. So there you go. You slowed him down for 1 turn, but regardless, he's just a beast. His landslide attack deals 60 base damage, and target opposing page in combat does not awaken at the start of its controller's next turn. And you may place an Earth Aura page you control into the afterlife to give landslide plus 30 damage.
Now, you can only do that once per attack,
right,
or once per turn.
Right. So you can once per attack. So you can take the 60 damage up to 90, and if for some reason they're trying to block Slide Rock Bolter, that beastie who's blocking is not going to awaken at the start of the next turn. It's just that combination of effects is so crazy. The fact that he's so big and he has Stone Skin and he has Burrow. It's like, good luck. Good luck dealing with Slide Rock Bolter once he comes out. And with the Cryptid Nation, the fact that he's in Cryptid Nation, you could technically use that Spellbook promo to contract him for 2 aura. Wow. And a turn 2 Slide Rock Bolter is pretty much game.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm loving the entire build of Earth. I mentioned this when we first started playing. It reminded me of the Magic days when I first started playing like just green aura, or just like back in like Ice Age when we had like Leviathan and it was just about putting a big beastie in.
Right.
Well, that's the vibe it was like reminiscent of, but it's so much more high tech than that. Every single one of these Earth beasties has some type of mechanic that will surprise you. And if you're not keeping track of it, may end your life. And if you are, may save your life and have you win that game.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely into Earth now. They're going to be on my radar from now on. I love that we have bigger beasties in this spell book, but I didn't rely on them necessarily. However, having 1 or 2 in the form of Grafton and John Henry specifically, I mean, giving all of your beasties unblockable John Henry, plus 25 life points so they can take some extra damage.
Yeah, it's amazing. It takes the Cactus Cats up to 65 base health, which is like, that's the one weakness the Cactus Cats have, is they only have 40 LP. They're swinging for 80. They have Stone Skin. They're a nightmare, but they only have 40 LP. So John Henry comes out, they get plus 25 LP. You know, it's amazing.
It is. I'm really enjoying the build. Look forward to playing it more. I think that's about it.
I think that does it.
Yeah, guys. That's it. We're going to keep it pretty short today because we've got another video. We're trying to get a couple videos recorded for you guys. So while he's away, you still have some content that's uploading. And yeah. If you're enjoying the channel and you feel like supporting us and you're already shopping at Channel Fireball, you could use the code MetaBroz with a Z at checkout. It won't cost you anything extra, but it does help us out.
Absolutely. Like I mentioned earlier, we do have a Patreon if you want to support us there. Big shout out to all of our patrons. You can find us at patreon.com/MetaBroz with a Z. Also, if you guys don't mind liking and subscribing to the channel, we would absolutely appreciate that. And yeah, guys, can't wait to see you all at the tournament. Very excited. So excited. If you see me, come up and say hi, because I know you've seen my face on here, but I haven't seen any of your faces. So please come up, say hi, introduce yourselves. I'd love to meet everybody, and look forward to playing you in some of the games if you're participating in the Casters Cup.
And with all that out of the way, once again, thank you so much for liking, commenting, subscribing, and we will see you next time on
MetaBroz.
Later, guys.
Later, guys.